Welcome back for another story about Jesus taken from the Bible. This story is about how Jesus finds his disciples. I think you'll find who he picks to be very interesting. Jesus lived in Capernaum, a town near Lake Galilee. There he talked to people about God and healed the ones who were ill. News of his teaching spread quickly, and everywhere he went, crowds of people came to listen to him. One day, Jesus was walking along the shore of the lake. As usual, people crowded around him. There was a boat pulled up on shore owned by a fisherman called Peter and his brother Andrew. Jesus stepped into it. "Row a little way out on the lake so I can speak to the people," said Jesus. The two men did as Jesus asked. Later, Jesus told Peter and Andrew to row farther away from the shore and put out their fishing nets. "We have fished all night and have caught nothing," said Peter. But they did as Jesus told them. When they began to pull in the nets, they were so full of fish the nets were almost breaking. Peter and Andrew shouted across to the other fishermen, James and John, to come help. Together, they filled both boats with fish. Here you see those two boats and the nets full of the fish and them pulling them in. I bet they had to work really hard to pull in those nets. When the four men saw how many fish they'd caught, they were very frightened and knelt in front of Jesus. "Don't be afraid," said Jesus. "Come with me and I will make you fishermen of people." Peter and Andrew, James and John rowed back to the shore and unloaded the fish. Then they left their boats and went with Jesus on his journeys. One day Jesus saw a rich man called Matthew. He worked for the Romans, collecting taxes. The Jewish people hated the Romans who ruled them and hated their tax collectors even more. Jesus said to Matthew, "Come with me." Without saying a word, Matthew stood up and followed Jesus and the other disciples. Matthew gave a feast in his house for Jesus. Some religious people saw Jesus there. They asked Jesus' friends why such a good man sat down at a table with so many bad people. Jesus heard them. "Healthy people don't need a doctor," Jesus said. "It's the sick who need help. I have come to ask the bad people to change their ways. The good people don't need me." One evening, Jesus walked up on a mountain and stayed there all night praying to God. The next day, he chose the rest of his disciples. They were Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, another James, Simon, Judas, and Judas Iscariot. With Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Matthew, these 12 men were Jesus' special friends and followers. They went everywhere with him, listened to his teachings, and watched the wonderful things he did. He told them what God had sent him to do. Did Jesus pick powerful men to be his disciples? No, he picked fishermen. Did he pick people who were saints? No, he picked Matthew, who was a tax collector and known to cheat people out of their money. Very interesting. Thanks, and come back for the next story about Jesus.